physical structure and second function. The physical structure have two kind of the factor, biotic and abiotic. We have covered these both kind of the factor in detail in previous chapter, that organism and population, right? In this chapter we are going to cover with the function of ecosystem. There are four basic functions of an ecosystem: productivity, decomposition, energy flow, and natural cycles, right? Nutrient cycle. So they naturally go on. They are not any artificial cycle. They're just natural cycles. They uh, recycle the nutrient on the earth, right? Biotic and abiotic component we have covered in detail. Look, there is an example of ecosystem. So what is ecosystem? Is a self-sustained kind of thing. Look, this is an ecosystem. Here you can see, look, here you can see that the source of energy is the sun, right? Sun is providing. Let's take the ecosystem example. This is a pond ecosystem. Here what you can see, this is the water. Light is present in the form of sun rays. So energy is coming directly from the sun. So there is a water, there are plants. So what are the plants doing? Plants are taking directly, they are trapping directly the solar energy and converting this solar energy into the food, right? They are converting the solar energy into the food, right? And the plant produces, right? They produces some food, right? So the food production part is only done. So they are the only producer on the earth. This plant is taken, it is taken as a food by herbivore fishes. Then herbivore fishes are eaten by some carnivore, right? So this is the producer, this is primary consumer, that is herbivore, this is secondary consumer, carnivore, right? All of them have to die. One day they all will die, and and when they were alive, they will excrete the excretory product. Their body and excretory product, they will be decomposed with the help of decomposers. They are bacteria and fungi. They will decompose and they will convert them into minerals, right? Mineral will be free. Again, these mineral will be recycled and it will be taken by the plant. Now, what happened when the decomposer will be break the larger compound into smaller one? What will happen? They will release the energy. They will break down the bond and energy will be released. Again, the energy will go back to the environment, right? That's how the energy cycle is taking place. So as you can see here in the this ecosystem, there are two kind of the things. Ecosystem is made up of, structure of ecosystem is made up of two kind of the things: biotic component and abiotic component. So abiotic component, non-living thing, we have discussed in detail in the previous chapter: air, water, soil, temperature, energy, light, pressure, right? Biotic factor, producer, animal, microbes, all livings are biotic, right? So what is the ecosystem? Ecosystem is a system where biotic and abiotic component interact with each other and they maintain the flow of energy, or they maintain the energy cycle. That kind of the system is called ecosystem. Earth is itself a bigger ecosystem. So this was the structure and this was the definition of ecosystem. Now we are going to study one by one function of ecosystem, right? So first function we have decided that this is the productivity. Can anybody tell me what is the productivity and what is the unit to measure the productivity? What is the productivity? Any one of you? No one? So try to understand. When I say productivity, means I am talking about the primary productivity. Look, this is an area of 1 by 1 meter breadth, 1 meter length, right? And that area could be in a grass, like that area could be in a grassland, it could be in a water, it could be in a desert, mountain, wherever it is. This is an area of 1 meter square, 1 by 1, right? Now what will happen? We will take the time of 1 year in 1 meter square area. Now what will happen? The plants are over there, some insects are over there, right? Now the sunlight is falling on them. Whatever the biomass will be produced within 1 year in this 1 by 1 area, that will be primary productivity of this. We will consider the biomass into kilogram, right? Or gram. or we can consider the biomass in the terms of energy, kilocalorie. So what is the primary productivity? The amount of biomass produced in a unit area in a year is called primary productivity. So how can we measure primary productivity? Kilocalorie per meter square per year, or we can say kilocalorie per meter square per year, or gram per meter square per year, right? That's how you can calculate, right? Or kilogram per meter square per year. That can be unit. Unit have been asked as a NEET question, so you have to remember the unit of primary productivity or productivity. Is that clear? Is that clear, or you have any doubt? Guys, keep on telling me.
Yes, sir.
Great. So you have to please note it down. The this one, this the unit of productivity. Now, what is the gross primary productivity? Whatever the primary productivity we have considered, that is called primary productivity or gross primary productivity. The productivity which we have talked about right now. So that is called gross primary productivity, GPP. What is net primary productivity? Suppose that a plant or a tree, there is an apple tree. An apple tree is producing 10 that is 100 kilogram apple in a year, but out of that 100 kilogram biomass, it utilizes itself for to run its own body, to run its own life, right? So let's say it is producing 100 kilogram biomass. Out of this 10 kilogram food is utilized by its own body, right? So that 10 kilogram will be less, right? So 100 kilogram will be gross primary productivity, and what you will get in net, 90 kilogram will be net primary productivity. So what is the net primary productivity? Net primary productivity is NPP is equal to GPP, gross primary productivity, minus respiratory losses. What are the respiratory losses? That amount of the food which has been eaten by itself, which has been eaten by the plant itself to run its own life, to get energy for its own body, right? Is it clear, NPP? Now, what is the secondary productivity? The rate of formation of new organic matter by consumer. Suppose that there is a deer is eating the grass. So whatever the productivity, whatever the biomass will be developed by that deer, that is called secondary productivity. Is it clear or not? Please tell me, guys. NPP, GPP. You can get question from here as well. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now come to the next concept. Decomposition. So whatever the dead material fall on the ground, it may be excretory product, it may be dead body of plant or animal, that, or it may be dried leaf and dried part of the plant. That all is called a detritus. So what is the detritus? That is the dead raw material of plant or animal. In the process of decomposition, first this detritus or raw material or raw dead material is fragmented, broken down into small fragments, right? Who help in the fragmentation? Snail and earthworm are responsible for fragmentation of detritus. Then this fragmented material they eat and they remove it that as an excretory product. Now what happened? Some of the mineral they dissolve with the water and they are the wash away from the top layer, right? Means they start going down, they start percolating downward toward the earth, right? This process is called leaching, right? So after fragmentation, the leaching process takes place. Means that mineral part that get dissolved with the soil, soil water, and it start percolating towards the downward. Now what happened? Whatever the material is left on the ground, that is broken by the bacteria. Now the bacterial action can, that is called catabolism. Bacterial action takes place, then the catabolism takes place. After bacterial action, what happened? The formation of a soil takes place, that is soil, mineral and organic material get mixed, and formation of a top layer takes place, that is called humus, and this process is called humification. So humus is made up of, what is the composition of humus? Humus is made up of salt, mineral and that is organic material. After the humification, what happened? The mineralization taking place means the mineral get mixed with the soil, right? These are the step, or these are the flow of the decomposition process, right? Ask me if you have any doubt. Then I will ask a question from you. The question which have been asked. No one? So I have a question for you. What kind of environment promote the leaching? Tell me. What kind of environment promote the leaching? That is a question. That is a NEET question. Previous year question. Any one of you?
Wet reading.
Very good. Wet and one more thing.
Wet and moist.
Both are the same thing. Note it down. Humid and high temperature. Humidity and high temperature will promote the leaching. Full stop. Low temperature and less humidity. Low temperature and less humidity stop the leaching process. Means the leaching process will be more in the Assam and northeast part. It will be less in the Uttarakhand and that Himachal part. Means in the mountainous area, there will be less leaching. Colder part, there will be less leaching. More leaching will be there near the equator, where the humidity is more and temperature is more. Now the next thing is energy flow. So how does the energy flow take place? Very simple. So this is food chain as well. So there are primary producer. Who are the primary producer? Plant. They have given the responsibility to produce the food on this earth. So plant are the primary producer. They are the plant, right? They comes in the first trophic level. So primary producer, there are example. They are called tree. They are tree, phytoplankton and algae, right? They are the all the green organisms. They are the primary producer. Then those which are dependent, they are the herbivores. They are dependent on green plant exclusively. They are called primary consumer. They come at the second trophic level, right? So primary consumer comes at the second trophic level. They are zooplankton or grasshoppers. They are at the second trophic level. Deer. Then those which are the carnivore and they eat the primary consumer, they come at the third trophic level. Like they are the birds, eagle, fishes, wolf, they all. Then comes to the tertiary consumer. After tertiary consumer, chain cannot go ahead because they are the top carnivores, right? Lion, humans, they all are the top carnivore, right? Hope it should be clear. So there is a law that is called 10% law. So what is the 10% law? 10% law. According to this law, only 10% energy is transferred at the next trophic level. Only 10% energy is transferred to the next trophic level and rest goes as a waste. For example, the grosses have collected 1000 kilocalorie energy. Only 10% of this will go to the rabbit. So only 100 kilocalorie energy will be taken by the rabbit. Rest will go as a waste, right? Now from the rabbit, only 10% will be transferred to the wolf. So out of this, only 10 kilocalorie energy will be transferred to the wolf. Out of that, when this 10% it will be to the line, only 1 kilocalorie energy will be taken by the line. So at the every traffic level, only 10% energy is transferred. Is that a correct law or not? Tell me, guys, is it correct or not? Is it applicable or not? Yes, Saifullah, you
Yes,
are
sir.
saying correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, gentlemen, please write it down. Please note down. 10% law is only applicable for grassland. The 10% law is only applicable for grassland, not for every ecosystem. Full stop. According to it, only 10% energy is transferred to next trophic level. According to it, only 10% energy is transferred to next trophic level. Aksa, Hanifa, Farad, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Please take this screenshot. You can get the question like this way. The fishes and wolf come in which trophic level? You'll confuse because the trophic level is third, but consumer is secondary. So this is confusing. It's easy, but it's very confusing. The ecology question, the beauty with the ecology is that the question will be easy. Answer will be easy, but the question will be lengthy and confusing. That is the thing. When you will solve, you will find it. Questions are not tough. They are lengthy and confusing only. Now come to the ecological pyramids. Very, very important part for the medical exam. What is the pyramid? Just here we represent the trophic levels, right? Look. So out of this pyramid, there is a pyramid of number. In pyramid of number, we count, we take the number of organism at every trophic level. That is the thing which we are going to take, trophic level. So first, at the base, we will take the producer, right? So what is the producer? Grasses are the producer, right? So there will be number of the plant of the grasses. Then there will be some insect which will be feeding on the grass. The number of the insect will be less than the number of the grasses. Then there will be snake which will be eating the snake. The number of the snake even less than the number of insect. Then the snake which is eaten by the eagle, their number will be lesser, right? So in the grassland ecosystem, the pyramid of number will be erect. Clear? The pyramid of number will be erect, right? That will be the question. Now come to the pond ecosystem. In the pond ecosystem, again, at the producer level, there are algae and phytoplankton. Their number will be in numerous number, billions of number. Then the primary consumer of small fishes, which dependent on algae and phytoplankton, their number will be less. Now those carnivore fish which eat small fishes, their number will be much less. Then at the top consumer, there is a crocodile. The number of the crocodile will be least, right? So here in the pond ecosystem, the pyramid of number, the pond ecosystem will be, this pyramid will be erect. Clear? Clear, guys? Now, these both questions have been asked, part number and 4. They are not in NCERT, right? So focus over here, take this screenshot. They are not in your NCERT. But these both have been asked already in previous year question paper, you'll get it, right? So these have been asked. When we talk about the tree ecosystem or forest ecosystem, this will be irregular in shape. When we talk about the pyramid of number, in the pyramid of number, tree ecosystem and in forest ecosystem, this will be irregular. How? Look, there is a single tree, so number is very less, but the dependent on the tree. So primary producer is the tree, but The birds are, number of the birds are dependent, their number is more. Deer is dependent, elephant is dependent, right? Deer is eating their fruit, and elephant are eating their leaves, and birds are living on their on these. So those which are the primary consumer, their number is more than the producer. So now first it is narrow, then it is wider. Then those snake and wolf which eat the deer and bird, their number is less. Now this will be narrow. Then lion which is eating the wolf, their number will be lesser, right? So now in the forest and the tree ecosystem, the pyramid of number will be irregular. This is not erect or inverted, irregular. When we talk about the parasitic ecosystem, look, which is the producer? Tree is the producer. On the tree, what are the parasite? Birds are parasite. The number of tree is one, but the parasite are more, right? On the birds, there are living certain parasite, ticks, mites. Their number are more than the number of the birds, because every bird has thousands of parasite or hundreds of parasite. On these parasite, there are some bacteria and fungi. Their number is more than the number of the parasite. So when we talk about the parasite ecosystem, it is inverted in the number of in the pyramid of number. Is that clear or not? Tell me. These are the two exceptions in pyramid of number. There are two exceptions: the parasite ecosystem and forest ecosystem. Pyramid of parasite and pyramid of forest. Is it clear or not? Tell me, Frat, Memuna.
Yes, sir.
Please take
Yes,
this
sir.
screenshot. It is very important. These exceptions are very important. Now come to the pyramid of biomass. In pyramid of biomass, we take the biomass of organism at every trophic level. When I talk about the biomass, we take the dry weight of particular per unit area, right? In biomass, we take the dry weight, that you have to remember. Let's take the grassland ecosystem. That was erect in the pyramid of number as well. It is erect here as well. Grasses are more, their biomass will be more. Then the rabbit and the mouse, which dependent on the grasses, their biomass will be less. A snake, which are dependent on that, their biomass will be less. Then the eagle, their mass will be less, right? So in pyramid of the biomass, the grassland pyramid will be erect or upright. Let's take the forest. Forest was irregular in pyramid of number, but here it is erect. You can see. Tree is single in number, but its biomass, it's a banyan tree, it's very large, right? So its biomass is too much, right? Then the birds and deer which are dependent on their biomass is much more lesser than the biomass of tree, right? The snake and wolf, their biomass is more or less, right? And the least biomass is of lion. So in forest ecosystem, when we talk about the forest ecosystem, the pyramid of number will be irregular, but the pyramid of biomass will be upright. It's confusing. That kind of the question you will get. You'll get the question. The forest ecosystem will be, when we talk about when we consider the biomass, it will be irregular, erect, inverted, none of it. That kind of the question you will get. There you have to remember, right? When we talk about the pond ecosystem, look, the pond ecosystem was erect in pyramid of number, but the pond ecosystem is inverted in pyramid of biomass. Why? Zooplankton are numerous in number, but their biomass is very less. The fishes which dependent on the zooplankton, their biomass is more. The larger fishes, they have more biomass, right? So now here the pyramid of biomass is in pond ecosystem, the pyramid of biomass is inverted. Last but not the least, pyramid of energy. Pyramid of energy will always be erect in any kind of ecosystem. Why? Because whenever the energy is transferred from one ecosystem to another ecosystem, or one trophic level to another trophic level, the energy loss will take place. Next time the transfer of energy will be less than the previous one. Tell me, all pyramids are clear? If you have any doubt, please ask me.
No doubt, sir.
Very good.
Sir, can you show pond again?
Yeah. Yes. If you want, take the screenshot. That is the best thing.
Done, sir.
And every class, I'm suggesting you don't leave the ecology question and never get feared with them, right? They will be lengthy, their option will be lengthy, but they will be very easy. right? And even if you have a guess, then your guess will be stronger in comparison to other, right? Just okay. Look, uh, ecological succession, right? When we talk about the ecological succession, what is succession first, right? Succession, you know that the previous one, right? Uh, Suppose that there is a any dynasty, so you will see a new prince come, they succeed the another one. Then attack takes place, some another king come and they succeed the another one. That's how, if you will talk about the 100 year, there will be number of the successor, right? So that this is called the successor process. English in this term, the whoever take the power, right? That term is called successor, right? Now here what we are talking about, how does the succession takes place? There are certain areas which are barren land right now, but after thousands of years later, they will become green. There are fair enough chances. So, for example, when the earth originated, plants were not there, right? But nowadays, those areas which were naked, barren, nowadays they are completely lush green. How does this take in place? So, when the formation of rock would have taken place after the earth cooled down, life originated, and how does this forest cover that mountainous area? So, in starting, the lichen comes. The lichen get stuck with the those rock part. They, with the help of chemical enzyme, they break down the rock. Without, because of the changing temperature, the rocks break down. When the rock break down, the soil formation, very thin layer of soil is formed. Then the dead body of lichen, like get accumulated. They make organ, they add organic matter. After 100 of the year, lichen, the mosses comes. They, right? So those mosses cover those area. They also add on the soil, add on the organic matter. Then pteridophytes come, right? Then bushes comes. After bushes, then finally they also add on the more organic matter, more soil. They trap the more moisture. After that, what happened? Then the finally tree comes. That's how the area is dominated. So if you will say what are the succession? So in succession, you can say in the succession series, first lichen came, then mosses came, then pteridophytes came, then bushes came, then forest came, right? So this sequence is called, that is succession. Is that clear? In succession, in this story of the succession, who are the first comer? Lichen. So lichen will be called as the pioneer community. Got it? In the pioneer community. And who finally settle down angiosperm or tree, they will be called climax community. And those which are between the pioneer and climax community, they will be called seer, right? Shear. Is that clear or not? Tell me. Is it clear? Pioneer
Yes,
community,
sir.
which arrived very first. Climax community, which finally settled down, right? And the series between them is called seer, S-E-R-E, seer. Succession can be, and that's how the formation of vegetation or forest takes place. Succession can be of two types: primary succession and secondary succession, right? Primary succession, where no living organism existed ever. So in primary succession was that when there were uh, no any living organism over there, right? Living organism were present over there, right? And suppose that it was a desert area, it was a uh, barren land, right? Or it is the naked mountains. So there will be the succession will be there. That will be primary succession. What is the secondary section? The area that lost all the living organism, but again recolonized. For example, there is an area, and that area was dominated by the lush green vegetation and animals. Uh, Due to the fire forest, the complete area become again naked, right? Complete area that all the animal they uh, like either escaped or got burned, and the forest fire, and every rock and every plant they get burned. Right now, after the 100 of year, what will happen? That area will be again colonized by the plant and the new animals. Right. So that will be called secondary succession. Right. So where the life existed previously, that there will be secondary succession. Where life have never existed, there will be primary succession. So succession can be of two types, primary and secondary. Clear? Now, when we talk about the succession of plant, when succession takes place in water, this is called hydrarch or hydrosphere. When succession takes place in desert, it is called xerarch or xerosphere. Clear? Look,
Yes, sir.
this is the diagram of succession in water. What will happen? There is a lake, and the lake do not have any kind of the living organism, neither plant nor animal. So what will happen? First, the blue-green algae will come or phytoplankton will come. So first stage will be phytoplankton. After that, this phytoplankton will dissolve the oxygen. They will produce organic material. Their dead body will deposit at the bottom. They will make the soil. Then what will happen? The second stage will be rooted submerged state, where some plant will come which are rooted inside, but their complete body is submerged. So second stage will be rooted submerged. You can see over here. Then the third stage will be floating stage, rooted floating stage. Their body will be rooted inside the soil, but their leaves will be floating on the floor like lotus, right? After that, they will add on more soil, more organic matter. And then what will happen? The fourth stage will come that will call reed swamp stage. Half of their body will be outside of the water, half of their body will be inside water. Their leaf will be wider and they will evaporate lots of water. They will try to dry up this lake. Then what will happen? After that, they will, by this way, they will evaporate the most of the water, and the mud type of the area will be created. Then the fifth stage will become sedge meadow. Most of their body part will be out of the water. Some of the very part will be or in the muddy area. That then woodland stage. At this time, the lake will be dried up and some bushes will arrive. Finally, at the climax stage, that is the tree will reach over there and they will make the forest over there, and you will feel there was no lake kind of the thing over there. So this is the stage of the hydrosphere or succession in water. These are the stages. Clear?
So what does here means again?
What is seer means? These are the successor which are present between them. I have told you the successor which came between the pioneer and climax community. They are called seer. They all are collectively called seer.
Okay, sir.
Now come to the hydrosphere or hydrarch, means succession in water. What you have to remember that I am going to tell you. The question have been asked. I'll give you a sample of question. A sample of question was there. I was going through with that. Which of the following is known as the amphibian stage? Right? Which of the following is example of reed swamp stage? This kind of the question. So in phytoplankton stage, you have to remember the examples. In phytoplankton stage, blue-green algae, green algae, and diatoms will come. At that time, the pH value of the soil will be less than 5. Mean the soil will be acidic. Then, when the rooted submerged state will come, they will develop soft mud. Please note down or take the screenshot. The examples are Hydrilla, Vallisneria, and Utricularia. These kind of the plant will come, rooted submerged state. They will develop soft mud. Mud from outside will come, that will make water more shallower. Mud will come due to erosion, right? Third stage is rooted floating stage. Nilambo, that is lotus, Nymphia, Tropa, Azola, they will come. Now the water depth will become 2 to 5 feet. This plant have rhizome. a horizontal root-like structure. Large floating leaves, rhizome and large floating leaves. That will be the characteristic of rooted floating stage. Reed swamp stage. This is called amphibious stage. This question has been asked. Already asked in medical examination. Right. So the reed swamp stage is called amphibious stage. What will happen in this stage? In the most part of the plant remain outside of the water. Example is Typha and Sagittaria. These kind of the plant will come. Rhizome form dense vegetation. They will form a dense vegetation. Says meadow stage. Mat-like vegetation toward the center. There will be at the center, there will be mat-like vegetation. Means water will not be visible. Dense vegetation with the rhizome. High rate of, this is important, high rate of transpiration will be there. And that will cause the loss of the water. Mostly are the, mostly it will be, it will become a drier gradually, right? Example, cypress and juncus. Example, you have to remember. That you have to cram, not remember. You have to cram, right? In woodland stage, the soil will become drier most of the time of year. Development of the terrestrial plant like shrub will take place, right? The example will be populus and unless. Humus will accumulate, right? The humus will accumulate, and humus accumulation will start in the soil. Humus we have studied just few minutes before. Humus accumulation will start in that area. Mineralization of the soil will lead to the lead to formation of the soil. Forest community, the finally Ulnus and Quarkus will come. They will be the climax community, right? So what you have to remember? You have to remember the underlying thing. You have to remember the example of all that. I'm just scrolling down. Please take the screenshot. That is the best thing. And you have to cram it. And they are important for you. Frankly. Please take the screenshot. Take this one. And finally, this one. There are 7 stages that you have to remember. This was the succession in water, because lake dried up after thousands of years. Lake will dry up, and that lake area will be covered by the forest. Now, lithosphere means succession in lithosphere means succession in the rocks, naked or barren rocks. It is easy. Look, what happened in lithosphere or xerosphere means succession on the rocks, barren rock area, right? So first stage or is called crustose lichen stage. That is the pioneer community. This is very, very important. So first lichen which will come, that will be rhizocorpon and rhinodia. These are the crustose lichen. They will look like crust. They colonized by crustose area will be colonized by crustose lichen. Poor moisture will be there, and organic matter will be less. Means poor organic matter and moisture. There will be extreme temperature. They produce and add and causes withering of the rock. They will produce and add and causes add soil and causes the withering of rock. They add organic matter. That's what they will do only. The second stage after them, they will come foliose lichen. Foliose means leaf-like lichen. The example will be Parmelia and Dermatocorpon. They have the large leaf-like thallus, means plant structure. They absorb and retain the moisture and sand particle. They will build a subterrane. They will develop a fine soil. So fine soil development will start from this stage. The next stage is moss stage. The moss which will arrive, they will be polytrichum and grimia. they will compete with the ligand, they will add further organic matter, thickness of soil will increase. Then after the mass stage, there will be a herb stage. Some biennial, means 2-year life plant, and perennial plant will develop. The habitat become more xeric condition, and example is Aristidia and Poa. Shrub stage, much accumulation of soil will take, rust and phytocorpus will arrive over there. Forest stage, xerophytic plant will evolve in this area. They will increase the humus and in that area, and finally they will make the moist mesic condition. Mesic condition means normal conditions, like from xeric to mesic condition. So this was the succession in rocks, and you have to remember the sequence of this stage, 5 stages, and the name of these plant which arrive. Please take the screenshot, start taking the screenshot here. Then this one. Then finally this one. So before going ahead, please tell me, is that clear or not? Both are kind of the success. If you have question, ask me right now. But this is very, very, very important. One of the most important part of this complete chapter. This is basically frequently asked question, and the most of the question they are from the in previous year question. Most of the question from hydroceology, you will get this question. Tell me, guys, is it clear? Saifullah, Maimuna,
Yes.
Ellen, Hanifa, Hiba,
Yes, sir.
Hafsa.
Yes, sir.
Very good. You all are very intelligent. I was not that much intelligent during my childhood. So, what is the next one? Mineral cycle. They are not much more important with respect to the NEET examination, but still let's discuss because they are a part of syllabus. So nobody knows what will come. So even me, like we can just guess that these are the important, these are the not important on the basis of previous experience, but anything can come. So this is a carbon cycle. Look, I'll just explain the carbon cycle and you can take this picture. The reservoir of the carbon dioxide is finally that is the environment. So the most of the part of the carbon dioxide is in environment. So what happened? Chemosynthesis or photosynthesis process. In chemosynthesis process, mean the bacteria which make the food from chemical, or in photosynthesis process, right, where the just a minute, give me 1 second. Give me just 1 second. Fine. Actually, I was just settling my internet so that power goes back. We do not switch off. Yes. So, look, in this cycle, we can see here the atmosphere or environment, that is the reservoir of the carbon dioxide, right? So, what happened during the process of photosynthesis? Autotroph trap this carbon dioxide, or autotrophic bacteria, they trap the carbon dioxide. When they die, the carbon dioxide again goes back to the environment after their death in decay, and even they release the carbon dioxide by the process of respiration. Very small amount is that. When again we know that during the process of photosynthesis, plant capture the carbon dioxide and convert them into food. When the plant die or because of respiration, again it goes back to the reservoir environment, right? Plant is eaten by animal, then there are two ways. Animal, after the death or the respiration of animal, it goes back to environment, right? There is one more choices. Animals, they become the fossil. So when they become fossil, it get converted into coal and the petroleum product. The same thing with the plant. When the plant become fossil, right, they convert into coal and petrol, right? Again, what happened? This coal and petrol, their combustion takes place, and after combustion, again it goes back to the atmosphere. There are few more sources. On the earth, there are certain rocks. These rocks get degrade and formation of calcium and magnesium carbonate takes place. These calcium magnesium carbonates are taken by plant, right? So these are taken by plant and they add on the carbon dioxide in environment, right? Again, but there are some sources which take back the, what happened? This carbon dioxide is taken by the oceans, right? Oceans, in oceans, they are converted into limestones and settle down, right? So these are the two more sources of the carbon cycle. So go through with that and tell me if you have any confusion. Is that clear? Clear, guys? There is nothing to more discussion. Phosphorus cycle. So it's a bit complex. Phosphorus is basically found in the protoplasm of plant and animal, right? When animal die, their bone, they release the phosphate. Their excretion, phosphate is released. When phosphatizing bacteria, they take the phosphorus from the plant and animal body and they fix the phosphorus. Then all these phosphorus, they get dissolved. This dissolved phosphate, they get settled in the shallow marine sediments, right? Again, from shallow marine sediment, this phosphorus get converted into the phosphate rock, and these are called guano deposits. Phosphate rock. Phosphate rock get eroded, right? This phosphate is after the erosion. This phosphate again goes back to the for the synthesis of protoplasm synthesis, right? And again get dissolved. Some of the part of dissolved phosphate, it goes to the plant, right? From plant again it goes to the, from plant again it goes to the animal, right? And again the same process taking place. But phosphate is not that much very much like that is not in a huge amount of the they do not contribute the huge amount of the protoplasm, hence their participation is very less. There are some general terms. Habitat, the basically place where any organism is found. Niche, niche is that place where any organism reproduce or it go for collection of the food, or it's roam in the search of the food, right? That is called niche, right? So the most probability of finding of any organism is at habitat where it lives, right? So as you can see, the habitat for all of them is tree, right? But niche for them, there is a tree. Niche for them, it may be different flowers. Niche for them, it may be different part of the forest, right? So this is a just, I think you must have got that. It is the niche, habitat. Light temperature, we have studied that also. Light temperature. Okay, yes, very important thing. No, we have covered all that previous chapter. Leaching process, we have studied all that. Abiotic factor, that we have covered. Abiotic. Is that clear? And go through with the NCERT. If you have any doubt in this chapter, please ask me.
Sir, can you say what is niche again?
What is the
Niche.
niche? Is that area where the organism roam for the search of the food and for reproduction. Right? Search of the
Okay,
food
sir.
and for reproduction. That complete area is called niche. Go through with your NCERT and please let me if you have any kind of the doubt. And if there is no doubt, we'll move to the next chapter, and it's a very small chapter, biodiversity and conservation. It's a very small chapter. It's not too big. No doubt. Should we go ahead? Hiba, Memuna, Saifullah, Ellen, Farad, Hanifa, any doubt? Aksa?
No, sir.
Even then in next chapter, there are very few things which are important for us. So that is biodiversity and conservation. Yes, it's there. Biodiversity and conservation. It's a very, very small topic. So very few things which are important. What is the biodiversity? You know, the biodiversity was defined by this definition was given. It's a very recent definition. In 1980, it was given, right? So this science, this term developed very recently. It's not very older term. It's not even 50-year-old term. So this concept was developed by A.E. Norsay and R.E. McManus. The two persons that developed this term biodiversity. What is the biodiversity? That is the number types of the organism, means types of the organism found in particular geographical area, right? So type of organism, what we can say the type of organism, like if there are 10 type of the animal, 15 type of the plant, and then 6 type of the bacteria, 20 type of the fungi. So this they all will be considered as the biodiversity. So biodiversity can be of 3 types. Genetic biodiversity. In genetic biodiversity, we take the different type of the genes, right? Let's take the genetic diversity of humans. Then Asian gene will be different. Then Negroes gene will be different, and Mongolian gene is different. That is Chinese people, they have the Mongolian gene, right? Portuguese gene is different. Then Russian, they are the Caucasian gene, that is different. And Indo-Austral, like we people, and Australian, we have the same genetic stock. Then there is some people who are found like Red Indians, they are found in American part, their gene is different. So this is the genetic diversity in human. Species diversity, we consider the species, different type of the species. Ecological diversity, we calculate a different type of the ecosystem, like lake ecosystem. Suppose that let's talk about India. So India will there is a certain part which is desertic, so we'll call desert ecosystem. Then rainforest ecosystem, Gangetic plain ecosystem, different type of the ecosystem. So ecological diversity, we take the different type of the ecosystem. Species diversity, we take the different type of the species, number of the species. Gene diversity, we take the different type of the genes. Now, this sequence we need to remember. Look, when we talk about the invertebrate, the maximum biodiversity is of insect, then some other group, then molluscans, and then crustaceans. This is the sequence of biodiversity, decreasing order. In invertebrate, when we talk about the diversity of vertebrate, this is important. This question I've been asked. Fishes have maximum biodiversity. Then second number birds, then reptilian, then amphibian, then mammals. This sequence you need to remember. When we talk about the plant, we include the fungi as well in the plant diversity. The fungi is the have the maximum diversity, means they have the maximum number of the species. Then angiosperm, then algae, then mosses, then fern, and then lichen. Please take this screenshot. There is nothing to understand. This you need to remember. Biodiversity sequence. Invertebrate, vertebrate, and then plant.
Sir, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, done.
So look, mega biodiversities mean the largest biodiversity in the world, right? That sequence you need to remember. It is not in there. Your just the statement is there in your NCRT that the India is the 8th largest biodiversity, but this sequence is not given. This sequence you need to know. The maximum biodiversity in the world is present in Brazil. Means the maximum number of the plant and animal. We know that the Amazon rainforest they comes under the Brazil, and that is the most biodiverse part of the world. In second number there is a Colombia. In third number there is a Indonesia. Fourth number there is a China. In fifth there is a Mexico. Sixth Peru, and the seventh position Australia. Eighth India. Ninth Ecuador, and the 10th number USA and Venezuela. So that is the sequence of biodiversity of the world. Remember that. You have to remember the sequence. Pattern of biodiversity. This concept is also important. Look, the middle part, this is considered 0 degree as the equator. We all know. From the equator to the north side at 23.5 degree, this is called here, and lower at the southward 23.5 degree. This part is called tropic, right? So maximum biodiversity is found at the equator, right? And then there will be less biodiversity in the tropics, right? And if we take about this tropic level, this is the maximum biodiversity is found in this area, tropical part, right? Then as we will proceed upward and downward, the biodiversity will decrease and the temperature will also decrease, right? So this part is called temperate part. Right? These are called tropics. This part is called tropical part, right? This is called temperate part, right? Temperate part. And from 66.5 degree to the 90 degree, these are called polar part, right? So when we will move from the equator toward the pole, biodiversity will decrease. When we will move from equator toward the south pole, the biodiversity will decrease. That is the pattern of biodiversity. I think it should be clear. Ask me if you have any doubt. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Loss of biodiversity, very, very, very important part of this chapter. So there are certain terms. Endangered. Endangered are those species which are about to extinct. Right? What is the extinct? How you will divide that particular thing is extinct from both? Tell me, guys. How you will decide that particular thing is extinct from the environment? Tell me.
If it is nowhere to be found,
Okay. Then it is extinct. Yes, is that Safla? So suppose that you won't see me, you all won't see me next 3 years. For next 3 years, you will say, sir, I have extinct. Am I correct?
no, like if any one of us does not see you, then maybe.
Look. No. There is a particular definition. It is not. It is defined in very few books. Very few books have specified this. If a particular species or particular organism have not been reported any part of the world for next or any part of geographical area for next 20 years, then you will say it's extinct. The recent extinction is dodo. Dodo is extincted. Dodo is a type of big bird, right? It was something like duck-like bird, heavy bird. It used to be found in the Mauritius and it is extincted. It is extinct. Endangered, which are about to extinct. If we will not save, very few are left. If we will not save, they will extinct. So, the great Indian bustard, it is a type of bird. It is about to extinct. It's a bird. It is hunted for the flesh, right? So, what is the reason behind it? Hunting. Then vulture. What is the reason behind extinction of the vulture? Insecticide and pesticide. Sparrow. What is the recent endangered list? They are in the most recent endangered list is sparrow. Because of the 3G and 5G, the 4G and 5G technology, the lifespan is reducing and their reproduction capability is reducing. They are endangered. The sparrow, vulture, and great Indian bustard. Right? What are the endemic? Endemic are those which are found at the particular geographical area. Like polar bear and seal, they can be found only on the North Pole or Antarctica part. They will not be found in any other part of the world. So that is the endemic. They are confined to particular geographical area. They are called endemic. There is a kind of the wool which is found. There are kind of the goat which is found in the higher altitude of the Indian part that is called pashmina. So this is found at the higher peaks of the Kashmir at very low temperature. Right? Pashmina is a endemic. Extinct, I have told you, dodo. Red data book. Red data book is the book where we there are red color of the book and we enlist the endangered species. Green pages. The red data book have green pages. Suppose that let me tell you an example. During the 90s, the elephant were endangered. So they were in the part of the red data book. They were written in the those red pages. After that, government have made strict rules, and now the elephant are abundantly over there in our country. So now they have been removed from the red pages and they have been written in the green pages, right? So these were the category. And loss of biodiversity. Yes, there is one more thing. Let me tell you. The next thing is that the Evil Quartet. The Evil Quartet. What are the Evil Quartet? Basically, they are the four reasons of the loss of biodiversity. Why the loss of biodiversity taken place? So scientists have discovered the four strong reasons which are responsible for the loss of the biodiversity. Right. These all four regions are known as Evil Quartet. Right. So what are the Evil Quartet? Out of them, first Evil Quartet is the habitat loss and fragmentation. The first region is habitat loss and fragmentation. What happened? The live case, let me tell you. I told you the case of the elephant. Elephants were more abundantly were used to be found in the Orissa part. People started deforestation and they started cutting down the forest. Means they started the encroaching the habitat of, right, loss of habitat, right, encroachment in habitat of elephant habitat. So elephant, their population decreases abruptly, right? So due to the habitat loss, the uh, elephant population decrease, right? That causes the loss of biodiversity, right? Next thing, when you make a dam, when the dam is made, a large amount of the area gets submerged inside the water. Because of the making of the dam, the larger area gets submerged in that part, and because of that thing, the loss of habitat takes place and biodiversity decreases. Clear? Then overexploitation. Overexploitation. Two best example. Godawan. So what is the Godawan? It's the actual name of the bird. The Godawan is, I told you the name of the bird is the Great Indian Bustard. Great Indian Bustard. Great Indian Bustard have been killed for its flesh. For its flesh. Hunting. It has been hunted aggressively, right? So that's why their biodiversity, they are getting extinct. The biodiversity decreasing, right? So if you overexploit the system, if you overexploit any species, it will extinct and the biodiversity will decrease, right? The same case will be with the dodo, right? Dodo. It has been killed for its flesh, right? And there are some other reason as well. So extinction of dodo taken place by the overexploitation, right? If you will overexploit any species, they will get disappear, right? And there is one more example, Stellar's cow. Remember this name, Stellar's cow. Stellar's cow. Stellar's cow is a type of a seal kind of the thing, right? Seal, right? So this seal kind of the thing, and it used to be found in Indian Ocean. That was the question. It has been. I have seen this question. Indian Ocean. It was found in the Indian Ocean, but now it is endangered, extinct. Sorry, it is extinct. And then the third one is alien species invasion. Alien species invasion. What happened? This was an experiment which have been done. There is a lake, right? And the lake, the name of the lake, this lake is in East Africa. So in East Africa, there is a lake, and you know the name of it. It's a very the name of the lake, the Victoria Lake, Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria, in this lake, there are a number of the fishes which are found. So there were more than 200 species of fish, and the name of that fish is chinchilled fish, right? 200 species of chinchilled fish were present over there. Okay. Here. Chinchilled fishes were present, right? What happened for the a fish have been introduced over there, and that was a carnivore fish, right? Just a minute, let me. Is it fish? Yes, a fish were introduced. So introduction of fish, and remember the name of fish. The name of the fish was Nile perch. Nile perch. It was from the Nile river. Nile perch. It was a carnivore fish. Carnivore. It was introduced due to fishery program. It was introduced in Lake Victoria. What happened? It was carnivore. It eaten the number of the species of chinchilled fish, and the diversity of chinchilled fish decreased. Right? This was the case. Right? Remember the name chinchilled fish in Great Bacteria and the Nile perch. Right? It is an example of alien species invasion. Right? And there are some more invasive weeded. Right? So remember the name of invasive weeded. So it is given in NCERT. Invasive weed. If these weed will grow, they will reduce the production of the crop, and they will reduce the biodiversity, because they have antagonistic behavior. Means they destroy and they kill the other species which grow around them. Right. The name of them, there is a carrot grass. Carrot grass. Carrot grass is also known as the Parthenium. It is a weed grass. Wherever it grow, it do not allow to grow other plant, and it decreases the biodiversity. Then lantana. Lantana is also a grass, right? Water hyacinth Ecornia. You must have seen that water hyacinth, or not? It is also known Ecornia crispus. Ecornia, right? And that's it. And the fourth thing is that that is the coexistence. Actually, what happened? There are certain parasites which are exclusively found on particular host, right? When the host will die, if the host will die, the parasite which are, it happened in the case of the parasite. If the host will die, if host will extinct, then obviously the parasite will also extinct. So host parasite extinction is called coextinction. So there are 4 major reasons of the extinction of particular species and the reduce of the biodiversity. The first one is habitat loss. Second is the overexploitation, alien species invasion, and the coexistence. So please remember the examples which are given over there. Tell me, guys, is it clear or not? All the examples are from the NCERT and they have been asked. All are from NCERT. Is that clear?
So how is coexistence
Coexistence. Look,
as
suppose that
evil?
look, there is a fish, right? And that fish have 10 parasite. So those parasite will feed on the fish. If that fish will extinct, then how the parasite will get nutrition? They won't get nutrition, they will die. So that is called
Yes.
coexistence. If the fish will die, then parasite will die. Right?
Okay, yes, sir.
Suppose that if there is no humans on the earth, will the mosquito survive? They won't survive.
No.
Because female mosquito feed on the blood only, or human blood only. So that will be the coextinction. And there is a two kind of the conservation, right? So conservation ex situ and in situ conservation, right? We must be aware with this. That's a very simple topic, but still, as it is given there, it's part of syllabus, so need to discuss. So there is an in situ conservation. In situ means we conserve a particular organism in natural habitat. Conserve in natural habitat where they are found. Natural habitat. For example, there is a two-horn rhinoceros. It is found in a state of Assam, that is a part of India. Assam, right? That is a part of India, right? So that is an Indian state, right? In that state, rhinoceros are found. We have covered that area, right? And we made a zoological park, right? And the national park. And the name of that national park is Kaziranga National Park. Kaziranga National Park. We have covered that area and we have conserved rhinoceros over there so that no poaching could take place, right? So that is an in situ conservation. When you conserve a particular organism in at its original habitat, right? Right? Because that was the endangered. What is the ex situ conservation? When you conserve that particular organism out of its habitat. So there was a species, and that was the Indian alligator. Indian alligator. Indian alligator are basically they are found in the Yamuna river. Yamuna got that much polluted that the population decreased. So what we did, we taken out the alligator, we taken them in zoological park, right? Zoological park. And zoological park, there we start reproduction of them. Reproduction, right? And again, after reproduction, the new alligator or new one, they are released again in the Yamuna river, right? So this was the ex situ conservation. When you conserve a particular species out of its habitat, that is called ex situ conservation. Got it? So to conserve the biodiversity, there were particular summits and conferences where the multiple countries participated. And what you have to remember, so the Earth Summit, to conserve the biodiversity, there was a summit, and this is called the Earth Summit. This question has been asked many times. The Earth Summit. So United Nations called for multiple countries on to discuss on the biodiversity conservation part. Earth Summit taken place in Rio de Janeiro, right? Rio de Janeiro. Right? In Rio de Janeiro in 1992. You have to remember where does the Earth Summit taken place, right? And this was the conservation. Then what happened again in 2000, Johannesburg, 2002. The next summit, first it was there. Second summit taken place in World Summit. That was second World Summit. There in NCRT, World Summit on Sustainable Development. On Sustainable Development, right? The World Summit on Sustainable Development, it taken place in South Africa, Johannesburg. Johannesburg, South Africa in 2002, right? Taken place. And here 190 country participated. 190 country participated. And then that's it. So if the more summit have taken place, you have to search on the internet. One more summit is, I think it have taken place recently, 1 year back. So I think it was in France. So you have to recollect that. And even this chapter I have completed. If you have doubt any in the biodiversity part, then please let me. Yes, guys, please let me know if you have any doubt.
Sir, in situ means inside the natural habitat, and ex
Yes,
situ
yes,
means outside.
right, exactly.
Okay, yes, sir.
Any more question? Any question, guys? Farhat,
Sir,
Memra, Helen,
the zoo parks will come under ex situ.
which one?
Zoo parks, like zoo.
Yes, that is actually to conservation zoological park.